You can see it clearly and still be stuck. You've pictured it so many times, that vision, that future, that better version of you. You've seen the home, the freedom, the love, the success, the peace. You've felt it deep in your bones so vividly that it almost seemed real enough to touch. And yet when your eyes open, the same walls surround you. The same routines pull you back. The same resistance keeps repeating, like an invisible gravity. And you've asked yourself why. Why does my mind hold such a powerful picture, but my world refuses to shift? Why do I feel the spark of destiny inside me, yet the outer reality lags behind? Maybe you've been told to visualize harder, to repeat affirmations louder, to dream bigger. But what no one explained is this. Imagination is only the blueprint. It plants the seed, but it does not water it. You can see the future, but if your frequency hasn't shifted, reality will not bend. Because here's the truth. Reality doesn't respond to what you see. It responds to what you are. The universe doesn't echo your imagination. It mirrors your vibration. That's why so many people stay stuck at the level of wishing, hoping, and daydreaming. They mistake vision for embodiment. They confuse the picture for the frequency. They think desire alone has the power to move mountains. But mountains don't move because of desire. They move because you become the person whose energy makes them irrelevant. Today, we begin a journey, not of learning more theories, not of collecting more words, but of unlocking the code that shifts your state, so your vision is no longer just a picture in your mind, but a living frequency in your body. This is how reality changes. This is how worlds collapse and rebuild. So take a breath, let the noise fade, let the weight of the old dissolve for just a moment, because you are standing at the edge of something rare, something sacred. The ability to cross the gap between what you see and what you live. And by the time this transmission ends, you'll understand why you've been stuck and how to break through. Once and for all, I need to tell you a story, because maybe it's your story too. For years I lived in my head. I had vision boards stacked with images of the life I wanted. I wrote my goals in journals. I repeated affirmations until my voice grew tired. I did everything the books, the seminars, the so-called experts told me to do. And sometimes it worked. A little. Small changes, temporary breakthroughs, a taste of possibility. But the bigger dreams, the ones that mattered most, remained out of reach. I could see them so clearly that it almost hurt. But no matter how much I visualized, life kept snapping back to its old shape. I remember nights lying awake, asking myself, am I broken? Am I missing something? Or is this whole idea of manifesting just an illusion? Because if visualization alone could change everything, my life should have looked completely different years ago. And then came the turning point. It wasn't a book, it wasn't a seminar, it wasn't even advice. It was a moment of clarity, so sharp it cut through all the noise. I realized I wasn't failing because I lacked imagination. I was failing because I hadn't changed my frequency. See, I had been carrying the same energy while trying to imagine a different future. I was still vibrating with doubt, with fear, with scarcity. I was dreaming of abundance while walking in lack. I was imagining freedom while embodying stress. I was trying to overlay a new picture on top of an old signal, and reality, loyal to my frequency, kept reflecting exactly who I was, not who I wished to be. When this truth hit me, it felt like the ground shifted. For the first time, I stopped asking, how do I picture this? And I began asking, how do I embody this? I stopped chasing external images and started working with internal resonance. And the change was not subtle. It wasn't a slow drip, it was a flood. Opportunities began showing up, in ways that logic couldn't explain. Relationships aligned, money flowed from unexpected places. Peace replaced the old restlessness. It felt as if life itself was rearranging around me, not because I forced it, but because my frequency gave it no other choice. This is the secret most people miss. Visualization shows you the door, but frequency turns the key. Without frequency, the door stays shut, no matter how many times you knock. And that's why I'm speaking to you today, because if you've ever wondered why your dreams feel so close, and yet so far, this is the missing piece. And once you feel it for yourself, once you tune into it, you'll never look at reality the same way again. Now that you understand the missing piece, let's build a foundation together. Because this isn't just philosophy, it's practical, it's biological, it's energetic. Think of it like this. Visualization is the map. It shows you where you want to go, the destination that inspires you. But your frequency, that's the soil. If the soil is dry, rocky, or poisoned with old beliefs, the seeds you plant won't grow. A map without fertile soil is just paper. To make the map real, you need ground that can hold it. So what does that soil actually mean in human terms? Let's start with neuroscience. Every thought, every emotion, every choice you repeat carves a groove in your brain. These grooves are called neural pathways. They're like well-worn trails in a forest. The more you walk them, the easier they become to follow. That's why habits feel automatic. That's why old patterns pull you back. Because your brain has built highways of familiarity. Visualization draws the blueprint, but your nervous system keeps defaulting to the old roads. This is why you can see abundance, but keep living scarcity. Your brain is addicted to the familiar, and until you shift the frequency of your emotional state, those neural pathways will keep playing the same script. Now let's add the energetic layer. Science tells us your heart produces the strongest electromagnetic field in your body, stronger than the brain, and that field radiates outward, like a signal tower. When your thoughts and emotions are out of sync, thinking abundance but feeling fear, the signal is scrambled. But when the heart and brain move into coherence, the field becomes ordered, powerful, magnetic. That's what draws alignment. That's why gratitude, love, and joy are not just feel-good states. They are technologies. They're tuning forks that shift the frequency of your entire being. And finally, the quantum layer. Don't worry, we won't get lost in equations. Think of reality as a vast ocean of possibilities. Millions of parallel outcomes, all existing at once. Every choice, every state of being, collapses that ocean into a single wave that becomes your experience. You're not waiting for a future to arrive. You're tuning into the frequency of the version that already exists. Just like a radio, you don't create the music by twisting the dial. You align with the station that's already broadcasting. This is why vision alone can leave you frustrated. The picture is just the dial. The frequency is what locks onto the station. And when your body, your brain, your heart, your energy are all broadcasting the same signal, the collapse happens. Reality has no choice but to align. So remember this, the map is valuable, the dream matters, the picture pulls you forward, but the soil, the frequency is what decides whether that dream takes root. If you want to live it, not just see it, you must cultivate the inner ground. That is the foundation. And once it's strong, the vision no longer feels like a fantasy. It becomes inevitable. Now we need to diagnose the traps, the hidden failure modes of visualization, because if you don't see them, you'll keep falling into them. But once you recognize them, you'll move through them with clarity and power. Let's go through 7 of the most common ones. Mixed signals. Mind versus body. You're thinking wealth, but feeling worry. You're picturing freedom, but your stomach is tight with anxiety. The mind says yes, but the body whispers no, and the universe doesn't listen to the words. It listens to the vibration. Micro practice. Before you visualize, pause. Place a hand on your heart. Take 3 slow breaths. Ask yourself, does my body feel safe with this vision? If not, Release tension before you begin. Align body and mind first. Identity delay. Subconscious resistance. Imagine someone who wants love but deep down still believes, I'm unworthy. They visualize a partner, but their inner identity cancels the broadcast. The subconscious always wins. Micro practice. Say your vision out loud. I am worthy of love. Notice how it feels. If it feels false, scale it back to something your body accepts. I am learning to open to love. Build identity one step at a time. 3. Performance mode. Acting versus embodying. You've seen people perform success. Posting the right images, saying the right words, playing the role, but inside, they're still out of tune. Acting is external, embodying is internal, and reality only responds to embodiment. Micro practice. Instead of asking, how would I look if I had this life? Ask, how would I breathe? How would I sit? How would my nervous system feel? Step into that state now, even in small ways. Emotional debt, unresolved fear. You're trying to build a new future while carrying unpaid emotional debts from the past. Fear, shame, regret. They leak into your signal, like static on the radio. Micro practice. When fear rises, don't suppress it. Write it down. Breathe into it. Say, I see you. I release you. You don't define me. Clearing emotional debt cleans your frequency. 5. Environmental reinforcement. Old systems, old signals. You try to change, but the people and systems around you keep broadcasting the old frequency. Friends, family, workplaces. They reflect the version of you they're used to, not the version you're becoming. Micro practice. Protect your signal. Limit your exposure to environments that drag you back. Create small sanctuaries. A room, a playlist, a practice, where the new frequency is reinforced daily. 6. Inconsistent practice. On-off. Visualization. Some people treat visualization like a diet they pick up and drop. One day they're tuned in. The next day life distracts them. Frequency thrives on consistency. Without it, the signal weakens. Micro practice. Commit to micro rituals. Even 60 seconds of aligned breathing daily is more powerful than an hour once a week. Train the frequency like a muscle. Small, steady reps. 7. Misread signs. Misinterpreting synchronicities. The universe responds, but you dismiss it. You ask for abundance. Then someone offers you a new opportunity, but you call it coincidence. You ask for growth. Then a challenge appears, but you call it a setback. The signs were there, but you misread them. Micro practice. Keep a synchronicity journal. Write down small signals, nudges and alignments. Over time, you'll train your perception to recognize the language of reality speaking back. These are the 7 traps. Mixed signals. Identity delay. Performance mode. Emotional debt. Environmental reinforcement. Inconsistent practice. Misread signs. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. And once you correct them, visualization shifts from fantasy into embodiment. From a dream you chase into a frequency you live. You've seen the traps. You know the failures. Now it's time for the protocol, the living system that shifts your frequency and keeps it aligned. Think of this as the operating manual for your reality. Simple, repeatable, practical. I call it the frequency protocol. 5 modules, each one builds on the last. Each one designed to collapse the gap between the vision you see and the life you live. First, the root. Identity. Because reality can't give you what your identity rejects. Workshop format. Grab a pen. Write one sentence that begins with the words, I already am. Not I want to be, not I will be, but I already am. Examples. I already am a person who attracts wealth with ease. A's. I already am a leader who inspires transformation. I already am a vessel of love and abundance. Say it out loud. Whisper it. Feel your body's reaction. If it feels false, adjust it until it lands. Identity is not performance. It's embodiment. Practice time, 2 minutes daily. Write it, speak it, carry it. Now we wire the identity into the body. Because your nervous system is the soil. Posture. Sit as if you already are that version. Shoulders open. Breath steady. Voice. Say your identity sentence with the tone of truth, not hope. Breath. Inhale deeply for 4 counts. Hold. Exhale for 6. Let the nervous system feel safe. Micro-action examples. 8. If your identity is abundance, order coffee with generosity, tipping a little more. If your identity is leadership, speak 1 sentence today, with calm authority. If your identity is peace, walk slower than your environment demands. Practice time. 5 minutes daily. Small actions rewire faster than grand gestures. Now we align heart and brain, without coherence. The signal is scrambled. Heart-focused breathing. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe into it. Imagine the breath flowing in and out through your chest. After 3 breaths, recall 1 memory of gratitude, a moment that proves life is for you. Hold that feeling. Let it expand. Anchor it. When you feel gratitude, pick a small gesture. A touch on your wrist, pressing your palms, tapping your chest. Repeat it daily. Soon, the gesture itself will trigger the state. Practice time. 3-5 minutes daily. Use the anchor anytime chaos threatens your signal. Your environment is either reinforcing or eroding your frequency. You must calibrate it. People, limit conversations with those who drain your signal. Seek, even virtually, people who reflect your new identity. Inputs. Protect your eyes and ears. What you watch, read, scroll, or listen to is programming your frequency. Time windows. Guard the first hour after waking and the last hour before sleep. They are gateways. What you allow in those windows sets the tone for your entire reality. Practice. Weekly audit of people, inputs, and time windows. Adjust ruthlessly. Finally, rituals. This is where the practice becomes unshakable. Daily ritual. It is station via morning. Identity sentence Morse heart breath coherence. 5. Evening. Gratitude anchor shindling synchronicities. 5 min. Weekly ritual. Choose 1 day for deep reset. Digital detox. Nature immersion or extended meditation. Reset the field. Crisis protocol. When fear, doubt or chaos hits, pause, step aside. 3 heart breaths. Touch your anchor. Repeat your identity sentence. Return only when coherent. 30 days, calibration phase. You're clearing old frequency. Planting seeds. Expect resistance. Track micro wins. 60 days, stabilization phase. Habits lock in. The new frequency feels familiar. External synchronicities. Begin stacking. 90 days, embodiment phase. Identity is no longer practice. It's default. The old signal collapses. The new reality feels inevitable. This is the frequency protocol. 5 modules, 5 practices. If you commit to them daily, weekly, in moments of crisis, you won't just visualize your future, you will broadcast it. And when you broadcast it, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself around you. For the next few minutes, let's step into the practice together. Sit comfortably. Place your feet on the ground. Roll your shoulders back. Take 1 slow, deep breath in. Hold and release. Now bring your attention to your heart. Place your hand gently on your chest. Imagine your breath flowing in and out through the heart. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Let's repeat that 3 times. Good. Now bring to mind 1 memory of gratitude. Something simple, not grand. A smile, a hug, a moment of peace. See it, feel it. Let the emotion grow stronger with each breath. Now whisper your identity sentence. Just once. Out loud or silently if you prefer. I already am. Pause. Notice how your body feels. This is not fantasy. This is frequency. And as you breathe, as you anchor gratitude, as you claim identity, you are broadcasting a signal into the field around you. Take one final deep breath. Anchor this state with a small gesture, pressing your palms, touching your wrist, tapping your chest. That gesture is now linked to coherence. Open your eyes. Feel the shift. You've just tuned the dial. Sarah spent 3 years visualizing her dream business. She had mood boards, affirmations, even meditation routines, but nothing moved. Opportunities slipped through her fingers. The cycle repeated. When she discovered frequency work, she realized she had been visualizing abundance while carrying fear of failure in her body. Her signal was scrambled. Within 90 days of applying the protocol daily coherence practice, micro-actions aligned with her identity and protecting her morning inputs, her frequency shifted. Not only did her business launch, but unexpected partnerships formed. Investors approached her. She didn't chase opportunity. Opportunity recognized her signal and found her. Daniel wanted love. For years he visualized the partner of his dreams, but every relationship fell apart. His subconscious identity was still saying, "I am unworthy." Through Module A, he rewrote his sentence, "I already am worthy of deep love." At first, it felt false, so he scaled it back. "I am learning to open to love." Slowly he rewired his nervous system with posture, breath, and emotional coherence. 6 months later, he wasn't just in a relationship, he was in the healthiest, most aligned partnership of his life. His external reality shifted the moment his internal frequency aligned with worthiness. These are not miracles reserved for the few, they are the natural results of coherence. When you embody the frequency of your vision, life rearranges itself. The demo you just practiced is a seed. The case studies are proof. And the next step is integration. There are moments when reality stops being accidental and starts feeling like a conversation. You notice a pattern, a number that keeps showing up, a phrase in different places, a face that appears at the exact moment you needed it. These are not random. In the language of the field, we call them synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that act like tiny mirrors, reflecting back the coherence you're beginning to broadcast. One of the clearest and most talked about signs is 7 on 7. 3 sevens in a row is not magic. It's a mirror. It's a simple repeated signal that your inner frequency is aligning enough for the field to reply. Where before your broadcasts were thin and scattered, now there is a consistency, an energetic signature that reality can read. 7 on 7 on 7 is a confirmation stamp, not a guarantee, not a finish line, but a recognition that your signal is strong enough to be heard. To understand what's happening, imagine possibility as a vast sky of stars. Every choice lights up a constellation. Most of the time your attention scatters across many stars, but when your frequency stabilizes, those stars begin to cluster. They converge. What we call a reality convergence point is that moment when multiple possible timelines begin to line up in your favor. Not because you forced them, but because your internal state has narrowed the options into a single, more probable pathway. In that instant, small events begin to harmonize, doors open, coincidences stack, the pattern becomes undeniable. So what do you do when a sign appears? There are 3 simple rules: notice, verify, and intensify. Notice. Stop and register the signal. Don't scroll past it. Don't dismiss it as coincidence. Pause. Verify. Ask 2 questions inwardly. Does my body resonate with this? And does this sign support the identity I'm building? Or does it feed the old story? If your body relaxes into it and your chest says yes, it's likely an alignment. If your nervous system spikes, be cautious. Sometimes the ego mistakes excitement for evidence. And intensify. When the field answers, you do not relax. You double down. You treat the sign as an invitation to deepen your inner work, not as permission to stop. Here's a practical protocol to follow the moment a synchronicity appears. I call it the 7 on 7 on 7 response. A compact ritual you can do in about 2 minutes. Step 1. Pause and ground 30-40 seconds. Stop. Feet on the floor. 3 heart-centered breaths. Inhale 4. Hold 4. Exhale. Feel your feet. Feel your heart. Step 2. Claim identity 10-15 seconds. Whisper your one sentence, I already am. Identity. Say it with tone, not hope. Let the body register it. Step 3. Gratitude anchor. 15-20 seconds. Recall one tiny real thing you're grateful for now. Hold that feeling and press the anchor gesture you've chosen. A palm to chest. A fingertip tap. Step 4. Immediate micro action. 20-30 seconds. Choose one aligned, tiny next step you can take in the next 24 hours. Not a wish, an action. Send one message. Make one call. Publish one thing. Take one appointment. Step 5. Record it. 10-20 seconds. Open your synchronicity journal. Note the sign, the feeling, the micro action. This trains your perception. When you follow this protocol, 3 things happen. You record internal evidence for yourself. You anchor the coherence neurologically, and you create a reliable external step that moves the timeline forward. That's how a whisper becomes a wave. Now a caution. Many people see a sign and then relax, believing the work is done. That is the exact opposite of what the sign requires. Synchronicities come to test whether you will remain the transmitter. They are tipping points, not finishes. When signs show up, you intensify the frequency, more coherence practices, tighter environmental hygiene, more aligned micro-actions, because the field is saying, you're close, stay true. If you celebrate by returning to old habits, the signal will weaken, and the opportunity will drift. There's another trap: misreading anxiety or wishful thinking as a sign. The difference between a true synchronicity and confirmation bias lies in your body. A real sign carries a steady sensation, a calm clarity, a quiet yes in the chest. If the experience produces frantic urgency or panic, step back and center first. Ask, is this guiding me, or is it baiting me? The test is coherence, not drama. Finally, use synchronicities as accelerant. When you see 777 or a repeating signal, increase the dosage of what's already working. 2 heart coherence sessions instead of 1 extra micro-action per day. For the next week, a stricter morning window. Protect the window after the sign. Limit exposure to draining inputs. Hold boundaries with people who pull you off course. And keep a daily journal of small alignments. Over the next 7, 14 and 30 days, watch how the pattern tightens. If you persist, synchronicities are not fairy dust. They're not external rewards. They are feedback loops. Precise, compassionate nudges from the field that your inner work is bearing fruit. Treat them as sacred laboratory data. Note them, refine your practice, and double down on embodiment. When you do, these moments move from rare surprises into predictable signposts. The more you keep tuning, the more often the field replies. So, when 777 lights up your life, breathe into it, claim your identity, act deliberately, and do not relax. This is the sweetness of convergence, a doorway flung open by frequency. Walk through it, steady, embodied, and prepared to receive. By now, some of you may be asking the hard questions, and that's good. Skepticism is not the enemy of this work. Blind belief without testing is. So let's address the most common objections that arise when we speak about frequency, identity, and synchronicity. Objection 1. Isn't this just delusion? No. Delusion is insisting something is true when reality is proving otherwise, while ignoring the evidence. Frequency work is not denial of evidence. It's adjustment of the lens through which evidence appears. Think of a radio. If you're tuned between stations, you hear static. When you tune properly, the station doesn't suddenly exist because you imagined it. It was always there. You just aligned. This isn't about pretending something exists. It's about lining up your perception so you can receive what's already available. Practical test. After a visualization session, look for micro-alignment in behavior. Did you take one different action without forcing it? Did you speak differently? Did you choose better food, posture, words, or relationships? If yes, that's not delusion. That's behavior evidence of coherence. Objection 2. Am I lying to myself? The only lie is clinging to the old story that no longer fits you. When you affirm a new identity, I already am, you're not lying, you're rehearsing. Every athlete rehearses before the game. Every musician practices before the stage. You are doing the same, training the nervous system to accept a new baseline. Practical test. Lying creates tension in the body. Shoulders tighten, chest closes, breath shortens. Truth, even if it's aspirational truth, feels spacious, calm, steady. Ask your body, do I feel more constricted or more expanded when I say this? If it expands, it's rehearsal. If it contracts, adjust the phrasing until it feels true enough to embody. Objection 3. How do I know I'm not just denying my problems? Denial pushes problems into the shadow, where they grow stronger. Frequency work does the opposite. It surfaces problems and integrates them. By anchoring in coherence, you gain the resilience to face challenges without collapsing into them. It's not about pretending bills don't exist or ignoring pain. It's about approaching them from a state that has access to better solutions. Practical test. After coherence practice, revisit the problem. Do you see at least one more option than you did before? If yes, you're not denying, you're expanding perspective. If no, then the work isn't finished yet. Return to breath, to gratitude, to identity rehearsal until your nervous system is open enough to generate new possibilities. So here's the bottom line. Delusion avoids reality. Frequency training refines it. Lying distorts your nervous system. Identity rehearsal strengthens it. Denial shrinks options. Coherence expands them. You don't have to take my word for any of this. Test it in the lab of your own body. Try the practice. Watch the evidence. The difference will not be in theories, but in lived experience. That is how you know you're not making it up. You'll feel the shift, and the world around you will quietly begin to confirm it. Now we arrive at the final moment of this journey together. We've explored theory, practice, and lived examples, but the most important step is what happens right now. This is not just a closing, this is an activation. Step 1. Grounding. Wherever you are, pause. Put both feet on the ground, straighten your spine gently. Imagine a thread of light pulling upward through the crown of your head, while your feet root downward like ancient trees. You are connected, above and below. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold. Release slowly through your mouth. Again, inhale, hold, exhale. Let your whole body soften. Step 2. Heart coherence. Bring one hand to your heart. Imagine your breath flowing in and out of this space. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale. Let's repeat it together. As you breathe, bring forward one memory of gratitude. Something pure, simple, undeniable. See it, feel it, magnify it. Let your heart radiate it outward, like a signal. Step 3. Identity embodiment. Now whisper your chosen identity sentence. I already am. Pause. Say it again. This time, let your voice carry not effort but certainty. Let your body posture agree with your words. Feel the shift. Notice, this is not imagination, this is frequency. Step 4. The real world anchor. Now here is your activation challenge. For the next hour, for the rest of this day, live as if this identity is already true. If you're embodying abundance, make one choice you would make if resources were flowing. If you're embodying love, give one act of presence or kindness that comes from fullness. If you're embodying courage, take one step you've been avoiding. small action, real world, immediate. Because frequency without embodiment dissolves. Frequency with embodiment becomes destiny. Closing blessing. Take one more deep breath. Anchor this state with a simple gesture, a hand on your heart, a whispered word, a subtle nod. That gesture is now your key, your reminder, your reset switch. And as you leave this session, remember, you are not waiting for reality to change. Reality is waiting for you to broadcast the signal. The universe is listening, the field is responding, and your life is already shifting. This is your activation. This is your choice. Step forward, as if, and now we close. But remember, this isn't an ending, it's a beginning. If this transmission spoke to you, commit to a 30-day reset. Revisit these practices daily. Journal your shifts, protect your frequency, and above all, track your identity sentence in real time. Join the community of others walking this same path. Share your experience, strengthen the field together. And right now in the comments, declare your one-sentence identity. Claim it publicly, anchor it in the field. Because you're not just creating a life, you're remembering the frequency that already carries it.